Shalom everyone, this is Avi Abelo for the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, in our beautiful, indigenous, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. This video again is being made on a day that I have free time in between my shifts in my IDF reserve duty, and again I'm all about helping you be inspired and strengthen your connection with the one above, and understanding the need for us to defend ourselves with our guns. And it's that partnership that's going to have us win our current battle right now against our evil enemies taking place right now, which is Hamas, which is really Iran, but also inspire all of you all over the world, for all of us to stand up against this evil. Now I want to continue a theme that I started in a video I made and promoted a number of days ago, and that is the strategic challenges we face as a people in trying to exist and survive and thrive. All right, so here you see I made a video that is the geopolitical challenges that Israel faces in trying to win this current battle we're involved in. Now I want to go a little deeper to expand upon more generally 3 strategic challenges we face. Number 1 is the geopolitical challenges, right? So if you want to see the 3 geopolitical challenges, again, watch this video. There I go into the geopolitical challenges. So we see that we have a hardship in beating our enemy because our allies and the Western world, and especially our closest ally, America, is basically allowing our enemies to kill us. Literally allowing, literally funding them, literally not pressuring them to stop. All right, so that's challenge number 1. On an international sphere, we have a prime minister, any prime minister, who has to walk a fine tightrope of standing up to the world and saying no, but. Because if Israel would say no too forcefully, well, you have an Obama-Biden administration that will say, okay, we're going to withhold our veto at the Security Council. Or we're going to withhold arms and stop you from being able to fight. And Obama did this back in 2014. In the middle of our Gaza war in 2014, he stopped the shipment of defensive missiles we needed to shoot their rockets out of the sky. Right? Obama stopped in the middle of a war. So we know this can happen at any time. And we know Obama is behind the Biden administration. And the Biden administration, while we have to be thankful, is standing up in word supporting Israel. But behind the scenes is trying to stop us from fighting this war and winning this war and ending it properly to actually protect us. All right, so that's challenge number 1, which is the 3 geopolitical challenges, again, that I spoke about in this video. And it's about how we maintain some level of support, even though they don't support, but without them going against us by withholding the American veto at the Security Council, or withholding arms that we need in order to fight and defend ourselves. Okay, now let's go into challenge number 2. It's the actual enemy, right? We're dealing with an actual enemy. Whether it's Iran and its octopus tentacles of terror proxies, Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in the north, they have Iranian forces in Syria, and then the Houthi forces in Yemen, and they have forces in Iraq, right? They're all around us. So that's the clear military / terror challenge we have to put up with. Then it makes it hard, and the first geopolitical challenge makes it harder for us to be able to beat that. Now I'm going to go into the 3rd challenge that we have, and that's the internal challenge. Because we have military leaders and intelligence leaders, and I speak about this all the time, I touch upon this, who, whether they don't want us to win, or whether they are incapable of allowing us to lead us militarily to win. And it's not just, and these military leaders, again, you have former generals and former chiefs of staff who the year before this war were calling on soldiers to disobey orders because they were against the government, because of a judicial reform plan. Like some of them literally saying that the Netanyahu government is more dangerous than Hamas. Those are the military and intelligence leaders. This is the line of thinking that is given across in establishment media day after day, night after night, in the studios, in the mainstream news channels. This is the demoralization that Israelis hear from former generals and former IDF chiefs of staff and former intelligence heads of intelligence. This is a challenge we have to deal with. Like, how are we supposed to beat our enemies and deal with our external geopolitical challenges in doing what we have to do when we have a fifth column of our own security experts who are demoralizing the people and literally stopping us from winning? And again, the example I like to give is, again, back during Obama's time, Netanyahu was planning an attack on Iranian nuclear targets, and it was the head of Israel's intelligence who went behind Netanyahu's back and warned Obama and his White House of the secret plans Netanyahu was planning. And hence, that brought Obama and White House pressure on Netanyahu to stop the attack, and we didn't do the attack. It would have happened if it wouldn't have been for deceitful, and in a sense traitorous, information given over by Israel's chief of intelligence to the White House, because the White House was against Israel at the time. So, and that's one person, but one person that reflects a thinking. Like, I know for years Netanyahu doesn't trust the leadership of the IDF and the intelligence. So here he's been having to fight an enemy and deal with external challenges when he doesn't trust the heads of the army and intelligence services to do what is necessary to defeat our enemies. Like, again, it's sad and ironic that in TV studios today they're blaming Netanyahu that he never got rid of Hamas all these years. But you go back war after war, where actually we did try to get rid of Hamas. It was the army generals, and it was the former army generals and former chiefs of staff that put the public pressure to stop getting rid of Hamas, and hence Netanyahu did not have the public pressure to get rid of Hamas. And he didn't trust them. They're the ones who always said, no, we can't get rid of Hamas, no, we can't get rid of the terror tunnels, no, 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 no. Those are the heads of the army. They never trusted that we could do what's necessary. Because, again, as retired General Aluf Brick, Yitzhak Brick, who's been saying for years that army generals have no longer been trained to win. They've been trained to manage a conflict. They are sent to Harvard when they get a high enough level. They get military training in Harvard. Harvard! Where they know nothing about war. They're brainwashed with progressive thinking, taught that the enemy is not really an enemy, and we have to manage a conflict and care for their enemy population more than defending our own civilian population. They're brainwashed with this progressivism at Harvard University, and then there are all these far-out left Jewish foundations brainwashing our high-up soldiers, officers, also with this progressive thinking and training, etc., etc. So we have a high echelon of officers, the top, who they have no intent on winning wars. They don't know how to win a war, besides the fact that they're brainwashed with this progressivism. And again, I'm going to do another video specifically on this topic, but just recently a retired second in command, right? He wasn't the chief of staff, he was the assistant to the chief of staff. He just was on record in a TV interview saying that all the national religious soldiers like me, who come with an upbringing of proud Jewish identity, that this is the Jewish homeland, that we are a problem and we have to be brainwashed in the army to be taught about democracy. Right? This guy almost was appointed the chief of staff. Some of the most motivated soldiers on the field right now, losing their lives. I think over 40% of the soldiers who have been killed have been those from my community, the national religious community. We are a leadership growing within the country, within the army, etc. We're taking the biggest hit in this war. Many of them are proud Jewish settlers in Judea and Samaria, or from families that used to live in Gush Katif in the Gaza Strip before they were expelled. We're the ones on a percentage level highest losing our lives. We are a motivation, understanding it's a religious war, understand this is our ancestral homeland, and a former assistant to the chief of staff who was almost chosen to be the chief of staff says we're the problem and we must be brainwashed in the army. He's not talking about Hamas being an enemy and need to be taken care of. He's talking about us. Us, national religious soldiers, have to be brainwashed. We're the problem in the army. So that's the third challenge. So we have the geopolitical challenges of the whole world basically allowing our enemies to fight against us and educate their children to kill us and murder us. Then we have our actual enemies on the ground who are killing us. And then we have the internal challenge of this tiny minority of progressive anti-Jewish, right? Because they're anti the Jewish character. They don't want Israel to be a proud Jewish state. What this former IDF general, the assistant, the chief of staff, is basically saying, he doesn't want Israel to be Jewish. We're the problem. The ones who are proud Jews, who know we're here for a purpose. We are the Jewish people in our ancestral homeland. That's the problem. He represents a tiny minority, but they run the media, they run the courts, they run the universities. They're a tiny, powerful minority. That's the internal challenge we have to deal with. That's the internal challenge any prime minister who wants to do the right thing has to deal with. Those are three huge challenges. But again, what's our ace in the hole? God above. God above, and the Jewish people once again understanding we have to defend ourselves. No longer relying on the untrustworthy leadership of the IDF and the intelligence. More Israeli Jews are waking up. They're disconnected from reality, unable to win. The soldiers on the ground know how we win this. We win this by clearing out areas in Gaza and then having the IDF remain there, clean it out of all the terror or the booby-trapped houses, all the tunnels underneath, and then move in civilian population. That's victory. That's the only message our enemies will get, that they lost. So long as those Arabs remain living there, able to kill us another day, whether under the name Hamas, Islamic Jihad, or whatever new name or an organization they pop up, whatever new Palestinian Authority, it's still going to be there to kill us. And they're going to be laughing at us, knowing they're victorious. They don't care how many of them died. They say the number of dead in Gaza, which is probably a made-up number anyway, because it's Hamas. They lie about everything, for the psychological, emotional manipulation to make Israel be out to look bad and to get public pressure against Israel and ignore the evil, their evil, and what they did to us, and what they continue to do to us, what they want to continue to do to us. They don't care about how many die. So long as one of them live and remains living there, they're going to continue their crusade to kill Jews and destroy the Jewish state of Israel. So the only way we win is we get our land back in all of Gaza, one community at a time, 1 kilometer at a time, and have our soldiers remain, and when it's all cleared out, then we have civilians go back. That's the way we win. That's victory. That's how they know they lose. The world doesn't want that has to happen. That's why Biden is pressuring us to end this war and get out of Gaza. At least we have Prime Minister Netanyahu saying, no, we're always going to have an idea of presence in Gaza. At least he's saying that because he's walking the tightrope. But we have God above, and we have this to defend ourselves, even though we don't have the military intelligence leaders to lead us properly. We'll get there. We'll overcome that. Because we have God above, and we have our guns. It's painful. It's going to be even more painful. But Am Yisrael Chai, folks. Stick with the people of Israel. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. Stick with us. Pray, pray, pray. Strengthen your Jewish identity. You're not Jewish. Strengthen your own identity and get everyone you know to support Israel with the truth. And get everyone to follow us at the Pulse of Israel. So if you are not yet a subscriber to the Pulse of Israel videos, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you support the work we do and believe that these messages should be seen by many more people, just click on the donate button every once in a while on pulseofisrael.com. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching. Am Yisrael Chai.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.